Hello everybody. Now I will start the other part of the module 1 which we will try to cover the solid state welding processes and the brazing and soldering process. So, we try to understand the basics of the what is the brazing and soldering process. So, difference between the welding and the brazing and soldering process is that in the metallic components are joined through fusion in case of fusion welding process or recrystallization of the base material by applying some kind of the heat, pressure or both together, and that is the principle of the diffusion welding process. So, or we can say the solid state welding process, there is some mixing of the metal is there, some mechanical motion is required and such that plasticization of the metal is sometimes necessary to join these two components. But in case of the soldering brazing, some kind of the filler metal is used within the parent metal during the processing. So, in this case we need to melt the filler material and that will join the two components by the capillary action between these two, between the narrow gap of this component, and therefore, it is different from the fusion welding process from that perspective, because fusion welding process we melt the parent material, but in brazing or soldering process we melt the filler material, but not the parent material. Then filler material is filled the gap by capillary action and having the, it should have very good wettability property such that it can join the parent metal. So, this way it is different from the welding process. Now, what we can difference between the soldering and brazing process? It is nothing but the joining process in the term of the temperature. In case of soldering, we have seen the soldering process, there is wide application in the electronics industry, the joining of the electronic circuit there. We can find out the application of the soldering process, but what we can define the soldering process is that joining process where the metals are bonded together using a non-ferrous filler material, and but the filler material having the melting point temperature below 450 degree centigrade. So, that means it is a relatively low temperature zone. But brazing also we can use the same principle, filler metal is used, melting the filler metal, but the melting temperature of the filler metal should be more than that of 450 degree centigrade. So, then it is considered as a brazing process as compared to the soldering process. So, these are the difference between mainly the soldering and brazing process. Now, what is the principle of the brazing process is that definitely the alloy you choose in such a way that we join the two materials such that melting point is below the 450 degree centigrade, and once is the filler metal is melt, then it is distributed in the liquid form between the two close fitting surfaces and by the capillary action, but it depends on the joint strength is actually depends on the gap between these two components which we are supposed to join by using the brazing process. Now, the metal is brought together slightly above the melting temperature, that means filler material which is just above the melting point temperature, the bring together and fill the gap between these two, and that it interacts make a layer, thin layer of the base material which is known the wetting. That is why telling the good wettability properties is such that the filler material, filler molten material should have good wettability property with the parent material, such that it can quickly join these two components, but the filler can be done by the capillary action and between the space, because if the gap is too high between these two parent material, the joint state is basically reduces. So, some optimum gap is required such that it is possible to achieve the maximum joint state in a brazing process. The same thing also happening, same principle it can be followed in case of the soldering process. So, that is the principle in this case. Now, advantage and limitation of the brazing process in we can present in that way that joint virtually is basically dissimilar material. Maybe fusion welding of dissimilar material sometimes difficult because it creates some kind of the intermetallic compounds, but in other way, since the filler material in the brazing and soldering process does not melt the base material. So, dissimilar material combination of the material can be joined in a brazing or soldering process, but thing is that the joint strength can be less than that of the fusion welded structure for dissimilar material. The bond lines can be very neat in appearance, that means the bonding line is a very neat appearance, very clear appearance. This is smooth part in the I am talking about in the terms of the smoothness. Brazing does not melt the base material, that is true, and there is almost no distortion because it does not melt the base material. So, it is almost free from the distortion in this particular joining process. Even possible to join the non-metals, ceramics can easily braze to each other two metals, because it is difficult to joining the ceramics just simply using the conventional arc welding processes. So, in that case bridging can be a handful to join the ceramic components also. Now, difficulty is that or maybe disadvantage in the sense the bridge parts cannot be put in an environment where the maximum temperature is above the melting point temperature of the filler material, that has to be very careful. So, it cannot work at that particular very high temperature, this particular joint. Bridge joint requires a high degree of base metal cleanliness, that means surface preparation is one important on the parent metal. So, very good surface preparation is required of the parent metal to get successfully or very good weld joint by using the soldering or bridging process. But one disadvantage is the aesthetic disadvantage is that joint color can be sometimes different from the base material, that is the one of the disadvantage in particular to the bridging or soldering process. Now, I come to this point, the solid state welding process. We will try to discuss the different solid state welding processes. We will look the overview, the basic principle of the solid state welding process or physical aspect associated with the solid state welding process. In solid state welding process, definitely when you try to join the, sometimes frictional heat generation is required. Frictional heat generation is there such that metal can be plasticized together and some heat, but it is limited to the below the melting point temperature. Then frictional heat helps to join the two coalences of the two parent metal components. Along the plasticization of the metal is there, frictional heat generation is there, at the same time the stirring of the metal is sometimes required, that means plasticization of the material is required to join the two components, but temperature is below the melting point, that is true, and heat conduction and material flow is always there. That means, if we that associated, that means one is the frictional heat generation is there. So, similar way what we model this fusion welding process. So, here also some kind of the heat flux can be applied. So, heat generation is there. So, it can be applied in the form of the heat flux, and material flow also happens, but assuming that most of the cases the viscoplastic material flow specific to the friction state welding process. So, we can do also flow analysis here, but material behaves the viscoplastic material flow as compared to the only viscous flow of the molten material in case of the fusion welding process. Now, it is also associated with the solid state phase transformation. So, some kind of the metallurgical phenomena can be associated also here, some metallurgical model constitutive variation can be utilized for the stress analysis, even for the solid state welding process. So, it is also associated with some amount of the distortion and residual stress generation in the solid state welding process, but we will look into that mechanism for this thing. So, we start with these things, understanding the microstructural and the surface condition of the workpiece. We start with these things. You can see under the microscopic scale, surface not exactly flat, so it becomes irregular, and it is mostly covered with the two, one is the contaminated layer, another is the oxide layer. So, this layer are associated with these things. Maybe microstructural composition irregularities may be there. So, microstructural and compositional irregularities may exist in the structure itself, and there are number of mechanisms to form the bond between the surfaces, but the main thing is that few things are there. If we want to join the this particular two components, their which surface is characterized in this way. The typical characteristics of a surface is the having contaminated layer, oxide layer, and some asperities in the microscopic scale that can be joined between these two components. One is that what we can remove this oxide layer, or what is the reaction happens, what happens to the oxide layers. If it is possible to remove the oxide layer, separate out, and then metal come in contact between these two surfaces without any kind of this contaminated or oxide layers, then it will be easy to join coalences between these two components by means, the several means, by application of the heat, by application of the frictional heat generation, by stirring along with the some stirring of these things, or without application of the mechanical load, just by make it the very good surface preparation, but at the same time make in contact the surfaces with the application of the small amount of the heat, or with the load or pressure with these things, and keep it for a long time, and that is the principle of the diffusion welding. So, that way what is the surface of a particular component, that is more important to understand for the solid state welding process. Now, intimate contact mechanically, that means once this thing, so intimate contact between the surface mechanically is there. So, it is associated with the following steps. First is the contaminated films can be broken up by the mechanical action. So, some mechanical action is applied to the to this workpiece surface. First, the contaminated films can be broken up and maybe break down the metal oxides by dissolution in the matrix. So, metal oxide can be dissolved in the matrix also. So, anyway broken of the metal oxides is required. After that, when the metal in contact, then local yielding may happens, which may be exceeded on the contact surface. At the contact surface local yielding may happens and the surface deformation is used to create the contact. So, then surface deformation, then interlocking of the surfaces, coalescence of the surfaces may happen, all these things. So, these are the phenomena is associated with this thing, solid state welding process, but bonding mechanism solid state welding process can be explained in this particular category. One is the localized melting is associated with this thing, localized melting may happen, it is very localized zone, but overall bulk melting is not there, not associated with this solid state welding process. Then diffusion may happens in the between the two surfaces, that is also one mechanism. Recrystallization may also happen in these cases. The addition, interfacial reaction, interfacial morphology, all are the typical bonding mechanism is associated with the solid state welding process. We will try to look into this typical mechanism. For example, localized melting. The welding processes associated with the explosive welding, friction welding, ultrasonic welding, all the welding processes associated with the very localized position, the melting may happen and this coalescences of the component may happen. Frictional heating during the welding causes the localized melting, that is true, and then melting may lead to the intermetallic compound formation, that can be the one of the issues associated with this thing, which may be lower the bonding strength. If there is a formation of the intermetallic, if due to the localized melting particular zone, it basically intermetallic is normally brittle and that it reduces the bonding strength. Then diffusion may happen, it is a thermally activated process and which is related to the material properties and applied temperature time. That means in the diffusion process, first the surface preparation is required, come in contact and then keep it for a long time, and then how fast the diffusion happens from one at the interface, based on that diffusion welding is basically is defined. Now, recrystallization also this thing, recrystallization is the grain boundary, what way the grain boundary between the two contact surfaces move by means of the recrystallization process through the basically grain boundary migration through the recrystallization process, which is this mechanism is responsible for the bonding between these two contacts. But remember, all these cases the surface preparation is one important aspect to consider. Addition means resulting from the atomic attraction has been widely accepted as the bonding mechanism for all kind of the solid state bonding techniques. So, atomic attraction, that means we have to reach up to that point, the two atoms can reach a maximum at a interatomic distance of the several, for the example 10 to the minus 10 meter. It is possible to keep in contact with a very clean and flat surface, then it is possible to reach with this the two interatomic distance, then they can bond using this mechanism. Then here it is to clean surfaces to be welded must be brought back within a distance of the 10 to the power more than 10 into 10 to the minus 10 meter. In that range you have to bring the distance. So, then bonding is possible by the application of the addition mechanism. Similarly, interfacial reaction also associated with the reaction of the oxide film with the weld metals. Solubility of the oxide is one matter here in these cases, but solubility of oxide at the interface is important to get the this mechanism responsible for the joining of the in the solid state welding process in solid state phase. So, reaction between the two metals can happen, the intermetallic formation may also happen, but that is not favored in the joining of the good weld joint strength. So, there at the same time phase transformation D&D welding process is also associated at the interfacial reaction also. So, all these matters associated with the interfacial reaction. Interfacial morphology is nothing but the unique characteristic for explosive welding. And what way the planar wavy or molten layer interface is actually formed? It depends on the velocity of the flyer plate relative to the coalition point. That means there is a jetting action what moves the flyer plate with a particular velocity and very high velocity, sometimes it is more than speed can be more than the velocity of sound. Then it creates some kind of the unique interfacial morphology, and that is responsible the joining of the two components. We will see all these processes associated with the different mechanism. first we start with the ultrasonic welding process. In this case, covalences is produced at the fairing surfaces by the application of the high frequency vibratory energy. So, in this cases high frequency vibratory energy is the source of the energy to join the two components, and normally the ultrasonic welding is basically confined to the very localized position, and but at the same time it is necessary to hold the workpiece under certain pressure. But if it is the pressure should be optimized such that vibratory motion, the energy has to be transmitted at the interface. So, then at the interface their coalition of the shear force is responsible at the interface between the two metals when they are held together under pressure. So, vibratory energy transmits at the interface, and the interface may be with a very high frequency, there is a shear force, oscillating shear force is associated at the interface, and some frictional heat generation will be there, and this with the under the pressure then two components can be joined together, but all action is limited to very localized position. Similarly, interfacial interaction we can look into this thing, the different effect of the different parameters, the localized temperature rise definitely, here the interfacial slip and the plastic deformation happens at the zone. Temperature is also influenced by power, clamping force and the thermal properties of the material. Definitely what temperature can be generated, what way the temperature diffuse through this particular material, the maximum temperature achieved during this process depend on that. Localized, it is also associated localized plastic deformation. Metallurgical phenomena such as recrystallization, phase transformation is normally happens at the interface in the solid state processes. Process parameters for ultrasonic welding process is the ultrasonic power is one important parameter, then clamping forces, time, welding time, frequency and amplitude of the vibration, that all are the typical process parameter associated with the ultrasonic welding process. Now, one of the most widely used process in the solid state welding process is the friction stir welding process. Here you can see that what way it can works, and it is the most significant development in the welding technology in a decade. So, there are lots of work is going on friction stir welding process, but what way we can define the friction stir welding process, how it works we can see, but before that we can say this is the friction stir welding process is a green technology because due to the energy efficiency and environment friendliness. So, there is no fumes and kind of health hazard due to the presence of the shielding gas or uses of the gas in case of the friction welding process. So, that kind of things are not there in case of friction stir welding process, because everything assets the solid state in the solid state means every the joining happens below the melting point temperature. So, in this case specifically designed tool is used that is inserted between the two workpiece. First two workpiece in the bar joint configuration we can keep at the interface with the inserting of the tool is required. Then rotation of the tool generate some frictional heat at the same time. If you move the transverse movement, then its joining of the two components happens along a particular line, the direction over a length. So, in this case this joining happening, that means frictional heat generation is also there. At the same time the stirring plasticization of the metals is also involved in this particular process. Now, if you look into this picture, here you can see that we define some advancing sign, retreating sign depending on the motion of this tool, because tool is rotating one particular direction. At the same time the transverse motion is also given to the tool in a particular direction, or it can be given to the workpiece as well also. So, here we can define the tool shoulder is basically is attached with the top surface, and at the interface, that means between the two joint over the depth of the over the thickness of the workpiece, the pin is inserted there. So, all part is basically generating the heat, in this cases frictional heat and plasticization and then joining of these two material. But remember, if you look into the cross section, the dimension, the nugget zone, all these things, the heat affected zone, all are the non-symmetric in nature, not the symmetric, because the relative motion with respect to relative motion, if you look into advancing side and retreating side are different. So, we cannot expect the symmetric profile and in this particular joining process. We will see what we can define the advancing and retreating side. So, the objectives of the friction stir welding tool is to generate the heat at the workpiece, that is clear, and move the material to form the weld joint, but frictional and the deformation effects results in the plastic deformation of the metal, that we can see from this process itself. Now, advancing side is that side which is similar in sense the tool rotation, the direction of the tool rotation and the transverse translation direction is same, that is the advancing side. And retreating side, that means in these cases the opposites of tool rotation speed, direction of the tool rotation or transverse direction are different in this, and that side is defined as the retreating side. Now, friction stir welding happens in the there are several phases associated with this thing. First is the, we can see the graphically the what are the different phases. Here you can see the first phase is called the plunging phase. Plunging phase is means the workpiece is there and the rotating tool is there. So, rotating tool gradually penetrate to the workpiece, and this is called the plunging phase, and it follows some plunging velocity also, that means it is penetrating to the particular workpiece. And then in these cases the transverse movement of the workpiece or tool kept as 0, that means there is no transverse movement, only the rotational movement is associated with the tool. Once we can follow plunging over, that means tool is inserting to the complete depth of workpiece, then the initial dual phase is there. Initial dual phase means simply keep on rotating the tool on the same position without giving any transverse motion to the tool. Then initial once is sufficient time is given for the initial dual phase, that means sufficient heat is generated, then we start moving the tool, rotating tool along the transverse direction, some linear velocity are giving to the tool, and that phase is called the welding phase. So, once it is done, particular length welding is over, then we just remove the tool from that particular. But before removing this tool, we give the final dual phase also, because once it is end position, we can keep on that position much more time. After that, we just gradually remove the tool from the workpiece, that is called the plunging out phase. So, these are the typical time phase associated with the friction stir welding process. Now, what are the process parameters? Definitely the tool rotation speed, RPM is one of the process parameter, and we can give the clockwise anti-clockwise direction, and tool rotation is basically heat generation as well as the mixing or stirring of the material to the pin. Higher tool rotation definitely generates higher temperature due to the frictional heating, high heat generation may be there, and intense mixing or stirring is associated at the high RPM of the rotating tool. Similarly, tool transverse speed is same as the welding velocity what we follow in the fusion welding process. What is the torch move a particular velocity, same that the equivalent here as the tool transverse speed in friction stir welding process. So, in this case, effects in flow of the stirred material from the front to the back of the pin, that means profile can be changed with the motion of these things, and optimum tool transfer is required such that proper mixing of the this particular zone is has to be ensured. Now, tool rotation rate, I think this should be the tool angle, basically the suitable tilt angle we normally use the effective holding of the material. So, it is not necessary tool will be always inserted in the vertical position, sometimes we put the tilt of the tool such that effective holding of the material is required by the shoulder while the moving the material from the front to the back of the thing. So, it is a better material mixing of the material is required in this particular situation. Now, we come to this point that diffusion bonding process. Diffusion bonding process, you can see the two workpieces are held together with the application of the force and may be added by the some temperature, and at the interface sometimes may or may not necessary some kind of the extra material. We can see that this is the particular solid state, very old solid state welding process that produces the covalence of the fairing surface by the application of the pressure at elevated temperature. At the, because this sometime there is a diffusion bonding happens, the diffusion becomes more active if we along with the pressure we can add with the temperature. So, the pressure does not involve the macroscopic deformation or relative motion of the workpiece, there is no need of that, but has to be in this cases surface preparation is one of the important aspect for the diffusion welding process to happen. So, it is like that only two components has been kept for a long time, and then at the interface diffusion happens, and then it is responsible for the joining of these two components. But to get the success of these things, the surface preparation is one important aspect in these cases. Now, we look into the what is explosive welding. See, this is one kind of the solid state welding process, and you can see that uses the explosive force to create the metallurgical bonding between the two metal components. Now, See, there is a substrate material and the fly ash material has been used, but the fly ash material has to be deposited by using the explosion. So, in this case we can use some chemical explosive on the top surface, and then once the explosive starts working on these things, the one very thin layer on the top surface is basically joined the substrate material. But how it works we can see. So, due to the short time duration, the very short time it happens, very short time duration, the impact is basically impact of the layer, and it is associated with the adiabatic heat rise. Then there is no time to dissipate the heat during the process, this is during the impact process, and it is associated, it moves very fast. For example, the deposition of the layer on the substrate material is very fast and very extreme velocity, sometimes it can be more than that of the sonic velocity, the velocity of the sound. It is a common application we can find out the cladding carbon steel plate, very thin sheet plate with a cladding of the carbon steel plate of the substrate material with a thin layer of the corrosion resistant materials. That is a typical application, very thin layer, and suppose you have a very big structure. So, in this case it will be easier to use the explosive welding, but you have to be use the explosive very controlled way. So, it is like that only over the substrate material use the put the this layer cladding sheet, and then we use the explosive, that gradually the explosive due to the impact load by the explosive, the thin sheet will be deposited on the substrate layer, and that because of the some kind of the morphology it will join between these two components. But in these cases due to explosive on the fly ash plate, a high pressure pulse is generated. This is the principle of this thing, and that pulse propels the fly ash plate at very high velocity, and the jet is product of the coalition between the two metals, because two metal surface there is a creation of the jet, and that jet is propagate in particular direction and allow the formation of the joint between the two pure metallic components under extremely high pressure. Because in this case the jetting of the fly ash plate is normally happens, and there is a occurrence of the welding depends on the metal plate collides at the what angle with the parent metal. That means what angle we can keep the parent metal, that is responsible the interfacial morphology in this particular case. So, for welding to occur, a jetting action is required at a coalition interface. So, at the coalition interface a jetting action is there, and it is very high velocity move, and then the two surfaces join between by forming some kind of the interfacial morphology. Next we try to look into the electromagnetic pulse welding process. So, in electromagnetic pulse welding, that is the one of the welding process, we simply use the Ampere's law, and we know that current carrying conductors when placed nearby, they exert some forces with respect to on each other, and because of the magnetic field created, and because of that magnetic field is created. Now, force between the two infinitely long parallel conductor we can see that can be estimated, we can see here also F equal to is a function of I1 I2, I1 I2 basically the current flow between these two conductors. So, using this principle the electromagnetic pulse welding has been developed. We will see how it works. So, then Lorentz force can be calculated, this current density and magnetic flux also during when there is a passage of the current between these two conductors. So, this Lorentz force is responsible here in associated with the electromagnetic pulse welding. Yeah, but how it works? It works like that only, the energy stored in a capacitor bank and charged through a DC power supply. The once the capacitor bank there is a sufficient charge is there, then energy actually discharged through the work coil by triggering the spark gap, and that this discharge happen over a small period of time. So, therefore, damped sinusoidal curve, basically sine curve set up in the work coil, this actually produces the transient magnetic field. So, that different particular current, in this case the its work and the setup in the work coil, that produce a transient magnetic field. So, transient magnetic field is important in the sense that it is basically created over a long very short period of time. So, it around 50 microsecond welding is completed. So, in this case the two work sheets in the vicinity of the work coil cut the transient magnetic field, and these two components can be joined. But in this case that the induced electromagnetic force and the corresponding the eddy current in the work sheet oppose their cause. So, electromagnetic force and the eddy current is created. This induced eddy current depend upon the material properties and their conductivity and the permeability of this particular material. But finally, the work sheets are repelled away with respect to each other from the coil and towards with respect to each other, move towards respect to each other, creating an impact due to the Lorentz force last for a few microseconds, one of the microsecond Lorentz force, and on the account of the interaction between the induced eddy current and the magnetic field. So, all are the induced eddy current and the magnetic field, and they create some kind of the Lorentz force, and then we have designed in such a way that to place the coil with respect to each other and then repel this field repel with respect to each other, so that they move with respect to each other, and that two components can be joined by the principle of the electromagnetic pulse welding. So, in summary of this particular subsection of the module, we have discussed the solid state bonding mechanism, that localized melting, diffusion, the recrystallization, addition, interfacial reaction, interfacial morphology, all are the typical bonding mechanism associated with the solid state welding processes, and different process follow the different bonding mechanism. Then we have discussed the ultrasonic welding process, friction stir welding process, even diffusion bonding process, and just explosive welding and electromagnetic pulse, all these processes and their basic principle. So, this principle will try to help to understand that if you want to develop some kind of finite element of in a particular welding process, that we should know that their basic principle associated with this particular welding process. But we will try to look in detail of this finite element modeling of a particular welding process in the respective module also. So, thank you very much for your kind attention.